when you spoke about the color, and when I think about this, almost every scene, there is some element of red. When Sarkar dies, and
Yeah.
then that boat, there is a fire burning in the background. When Vinayak's brother dies, there is a blood. That's the only color element which is there.
Red is a very strong color in the
Very
film.
strong color. When I think about, until then you realize the importance of the red when you reach the
When he
climax.
descends into that space,
such
womb-like
a,
space.
Lump in the throat moment, because we don't know where the money is coming from, and then finally when then you realize, the moment he starts descending, I realize this is the womb of, it just connected so
The goddess.
immediately.
Yeah.
When you have that kind of setup, because I'm assuming it's a set.
It is a set.
It's a set,
Yes.
but it's like a living creature.
It is. It was a very spooky experience being on set, because the set was created in a way that it palpitated.
Yeah.
You know? And it was created entirely out of silicone.
Oh.
So the production design is fabulous.
Brilliant. It's
Of course. So these two crazy guys, Nitin and Rakesh, and they actually created the set out of silicone. And there was a team of people involved who figured out a machinery to make the set breathe. So it was actually breathing. This is not VFX. When we would stand on the grounds of the set, you would feel the ground moving and breathing.
Correct.
It was spooky just to be there.
It was an excellent claustrophobic for you to shoot in that kind of.
Yes. The upper area was open because we designed it in a studio to shoot. So thankfully this one was at least, it had some opening. It was not as claustrophobic as the yes. And a lot of stunt work had to be done because when we shot the film, we did not shoot with the intention of CG characters.
Right.
So this monster Hastar had full body prosthetic going on.
So there was an actor who was.
There was an actor who was playing Hastar, and it was a very difficult part to play. If we knew from the beginning that we are going to do CG on this character, then we wouldn't have made him wear all those heavy prosthetics. So shooting the scene was again very challenging. We were not moving the camera in a way that was VFX friendly at all.
It doesn't look like. I mean, even when you see Hastar for the first time, for a minute, I'm like, is it CG or is it actually somebody who is, moving around the walls? But it gives you that. Then you say maybe it's CG, maybe it is not. So that kind of confusion is.
So we shot the scenes with actor. With wireworks, doing the real stunts and everything, and then in the end it was replaced by a CG character. So all the movements and all look realistic because it's an actual actor who is being replaced by CG. In most cases it does, but in Tumbbad I made sure that it doesn't. I told my VFX supervisor that, especially the climax sequence when you have to multiply characters.
Exactly, because you have.
Then the normal way of shooting it is through a motion controlled equipment.
Correct.
We did that in the first schedule in 2012. We used a motion controlled camera, and now this equipment was such a heavy piece of equipment. It's basically a crane that replicates the movements. It became highly restrictive. It was just a static track in, and we did that 10 times with the actor in different places. But the scene was just not working. It's too restrictive. It was just not the language of the film at all. It was not as involving as I would like it to be. It was like, as I said, a framed picture which an audience would watch from a distance.
Yeah, you want the depth.
I want the audience to get into that hell hole, that womb of the goddess. I want the audience to be very, very close to the monster. I want to take the camera in my hand and just be frantically moving around, just like I would if I was a real person in a space like that. So that's why when we started doing the second schedule and when we redid the scene, my only condition to our VFX supervisor was, I'm not going to use motion control. I'm going to use handheld camera movement, and I'm not going to think of your VFX. You will have to do the VFX in any way I move the camera. And we had a fantastic supervisor. He said, please just go ahead.
Go ahead and do it.
Shoot the way you want to, and we'll see what we can do. It's a surprise reveal, and also it connects a lot of other things. That the more greed you become, you bring, the more monsters you'll have to face.
Exactly.
So that was a very solid climax. It was. It used to give us goosebumps while reading the script itself.
Exactly.
We were very sure that this is a solid climax. We should not mess it up while shooting. So we shot a lot more material for the climax. But because the CG is so expensive, that's why the scene is so contained, and it's way shorter than the length we had shot for.
Okay.
But still, it's effective, I guess.
It's very effective. It's very, very. I mean, I cannot. Like I was saying, every single scene of the film is in front of me. I want to watch it again. I mean, I have to see this film again to just understand. Because you see the first time you're just looking at the story and you're just so much in awe of what you're watching, and now then I'll go back and say, okay, this is how it was done, this is how it worked, this is what happened.
Wow, fantastic. Go back and watch it, because I want people to watch it again and again and again. With Tumbbad, there was no problem with that. The moment I would land up in set, I was in that world, and I didn't have to do anything extra. Also, we had already shot that film. Tumbbad was the second film in my second film after Ship of Theseus. So I had already been through an intense shoot process. So
and you're working with almost the same people again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anand and Rahi, who have been very dear friends, not anymore. But so So getting back to Tumbbad was never a problem. Also because the gap was so much, and in between shooting the film, I was not doing anything else. So when I was shooting Tumbbad, I was just shooting Tumbbad. I was not doing anything else. Of course, I mean, my expectations are very high. I want the better scripts to come. I'm still waiting.
It challenges you as a...
It does, and nothing else gives you satisfaction then after a few days.
So your benchmark is pretty high.
Yes, but that was there. I mean, Tumbbad was done 3 years ago. The process was over, and after that, I did go through this intense frustration of not finding anything as substantial as Tumbbad. But now I've made peace with that. Actually,
Now you become part of the crowd now.
I've set my expectations low, and I'm much happier in life because of that. No, I never had, none of us ever had any doubt that this film will be incomprehensible to any section of the viewer. That was the case with Ship of Theseus. Ship of Theseus, I did not expect that the film would even release commercially.
Correct.
But with Tumbbad, we knew that this film is not intellectual. It is a film that appeals to the basic instincts of any human being.
Exactly.
So why wouldn't anybody be able to relate to this film? I just finished shooting a film called Mental Hai Kya. It was a very, it was a very enjoyable process.
Complete diametrical opposite.
Oh yes, completely. I don't think I'll. Yes, I mean I enjoy the difference of that each film brings to me.
Quite diverse film. Daddy also you shot.
Yeah, I shot 30% of Daddy, not the entire film.
Rangoon you shot.
Yes, Rangoon was a different film. Heather, Talwar, they've all been very different.
Heather, you've explored a lot of sense of. I still remember that one scene when it's only Shahid in that frame. It's like a downward shot. It's like of him.
It's taken from inside the graveyard when he holds the skull, right?
Yeah.
That was also
crazy. Love to work with those kind of
challenging environment. Entirely, yes. All my films have been short-handed.
What is that about? People like to use...
I've never used a Steadicam or Panther, except for Mental Heck. Yeah, I used Panther, but never Steadicam.
You like to?
I like to hold the camera on my shoulders or in my hands because I like to respond to actors. I like to respond to performances, and I like to respond to the way a scene needs its own energy or dynamism. I don't move the camera all the time. I always in a script, the first thing that I figure out is the rhythm of the film, in which the film, in a manner in which the story needs to be told. So then it becomes once the rhythm of the film is clear in your head, then you know when to move the camera and when not to move the camera.
Also, what camera you use does the film dictate? Because I think you use red for camera.
Yes.
You have shot super pieces using DSLR. So
yes.
Completely different.
Yes,
so
I'm a little camera agnostic. I'm not so hell bent on a particular piece of technology. The reason I use red is because it gives me the freedom to extract frames from the camera, which are very high resolution frames, and then I can experiment a lot with color grading post shoot. And also the ergonomics of the camera is such that it's not very heavyweight. It's a small camera with yes, exactly. So it gives me a lot of freedom to take the camera on my shoulder, hold it on a top handle.
And also when you're working with limited light and limited palette, I think red helps. Does it help? Because
see, the lighting. Actually, all the digital cameras technically are capable of seeing into dark nowadays. They see. Yes, and it's transforming for the better. I love the transformation of technology. I love how technology has evolved for us. I'm not so nostalgic about film. So digital cameras can see into dark way more than any of the previous cameras could, and as time goes on, technology is only getting better and better. I do not agree with Christopher Nolan. He's an elitist.
But do you think that with technology improving more and more, with the camera doing a lot of the work, how much does the person...
Camera doesn't do any of the work.
That's right.
The work is done by the person behind the camera.
Right.
The camera is just a tool.
Tend to, just brush it. Camera is doing all the work. What is it?
It's not doing any of the work because the artificial intelligence cameras have not arrived yet. Maybe in future we'll have robotic cameras which will do all the work.
Yeah, but even then you have to feed into that, what you want. It's not
yes.
Itself.
Imagination is a very human thing.
Exactly.
There's no other life form or non-life form that possesses this quality. As long as human beings have imagination, art is only going to emerge from that. All the machines are just tools, and these machines are also products of human imagination.
Exactly.
All these inventions, new technologies, I love them because I love any product coming out of imagination, creative thinking. It's only a manifestation of the greatest gift of nature to human beings, which is, again, imagination. No other animal life form possesses it. So we should celebrate it. And that's why I love innovation. I love the way things are evolving.